recently
that,
than
bitch?
normal.
I mean, it's been 1 week.
Wow. Can't believe the
Fuck.
week really...
It's so long.
Time...
A week really passes by. A whole virus outbreak happened in a week.
Guys, we solved coronavirus.
This has been a long time coming.
Is this the intro?
Nope.
No, this will be the intro. I'm keeping this in.
Well, we're deleting the file, so
Why are we
that
deleting
bitch.
this? I
was just starting it as a mic check.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we
Just
checked.
keeping whatever,
We
okay.
checked the mic.
We checked it.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
After a week.
It's been a
Okay.
miserable time.
Am I still doing intro?
So let's...
It's been like the
we don't need
worst
it. So
period of time ever.
we don't need
for
an
full transparency here, we have not been recording every week. We had actually had like what
We had
12?
13.
12.
No, 12.
12 stockpiled episodes
And
in the bank, and
we're now at
and then-
12.
yeah, we
And
we're
we have
12.
not recorded since
Yeah.
the 12th. So it's been
Listen, shit
It's a
went
long
down.
time.
more than 12 weeks.
Something I don't know if
because
you guys heard of it. The COVID-19 hits.
the
The coronavirus.
I don't know about you. I started quarantining like 2 weeks before we uploaded the first episode. So it's been like
A lot of time without casting.
it's been like probably 4 months.
Yep,
It's sad we missed it, but
Eh.
I didn't. This shit's
We watched a lot
terrible.
of-
And then I had to go through every episode and listen to our shitty podcast again.
to all our one of you.
Yeah, to the 0 views.
Yeah, thanks
I
a
think
lot,
our
guys.
Zookeeper- Yeah, thanks for the like 40 people who follow us on Instagram and our like 9 subscribers.
Well, listen. Someday when we blow up,
like
people will look back on this
Yeah.
episode
You
and be
guys
like,
are
"Wow,
petty as shit.
No,
We're
I'm
being
happy
petty.
to do it. We're here.
this
We're
is
doing
fun.
it.
I like
Yeah.
it's for fun.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
a
It's not
it's a
meant to-
passion project."
Honestly,
Listen, if I was really that negative on it, I wouldn't be dedicating
we wouldn't be breaking
an hour,
quarantine.
an hour plus of my day to re-listen to every episode. So, yeah.
All right, but we're back.
life's a living hell. Get used to it.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
things are
2020
shitty.
has
Maybe this will
been
give
Holy
the
shit.
world has been
Yeah.
on
What
fire.
a fucking year.
What
This
a-
is not we're gonna.
This is the worst time
We're gonna
ever.
air.
Not for,
But-
not for the world, but
Going
for
so
me.
again,
young
if
gun.
we're gonna be fully
All
transparent,
you guys are lucky. My life's been terrible. I don't know about you guys.
we're gonna back on topic. We're gonna try and stack a couple more, but we're gonna have to figure out. We're gonna try and figure out some Zoom stuff because
Yeah.
we're leaving for Schoolio.
You think
soon.
the quality's shitty now? Just wait.
No, it'll
Yeah,
be just as
if you
good.
thought these episodes are bad,
Just wait till the
We're not gonna be in the
episode's
same room.
motherfucker.
wait until maybe you'll be able to see us if we do Zoom and stuff. Maybe we'll just
My
screen
Chromebook
record
runs
the
at
Zooms.
12 frames per second. So
Yeah,
you're ready for
you'll
that.
see Nick every.
It'll
2
run
or
like the
3
Freddy
seconds.
got fingered torn.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Alright, let's stop doing that because then I have to cut it out of every episode. I go through and
Do what? This guy's a complainer.
we've dropped spoilers in like every episode.
What did we spoil?
No, we were just because again we've recorded
Okay, like that
episodes
matters.
beforehand.
This
You know,
isn't-
I'm just not
it's
editing
not your-
them anymore. I'm just gonna
I was about to say,
upload
why do
the
you
raw.
even, why does it matter?
I'm
Just
doing the
not
raw
editing.
file. Well, why does it matter? The last episode I uploaded, there was 2 minutes of dead air because for
Well,
some reason
okay.
the audio cut out.
My
That's a
computer's
part of the
middle of a
experience,
discussion.
baby.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we're an experimental podcast. Avant-garde.
All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I don't want to
Okay.
bore the listener.
All
If,
right.
if this is your first episode, sorry.
Whatever.
Listen,
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
fans.
try and I want to build a nice computer when I'm at school, and I can take on some of the editing duties. Because I would like to teach myself how to do that.
No, it's fine. I appreciate it.
Well,
As long as I get a larger
let's-
cut once we start making money.
You know, buy mics.
I'm kidding.
All right,
Does that mean I'm being
Oh,
small?
shouts out to our one Patreon.
on Patreon, we'll
Who's
get you
dropping mad bang.
we'll get you on 2
Yeah.
episodes in the future.
Yeah.
Once this is all.
That's
we should
exciting.
probably cut that out once we become popular at all.
Shut the
because
fuck up.
what, $50 to be on our show is not.
Oh yeah, just reveal all of our numbers.
Movies. They're
Review
on the.
our-
All right.
It's on our Patreon.
Okay,
you can
so-
go look $50.
We're gonna start.
What
We're
do you
gonna
call
start things out.
Nymphomaniac, you're
Shut
right.
up.
Nick hated Nymphomaniac.
Well,
That-
they don't know that.
I mean that episode.
Yes, they do. That episode already came out.
I mean, yes, you do.
whatever.
What episode is this? What year is it?
Things are
Twin,
so
that's
bad,
a Twin
guys.
Peaks quote.
Maybe this will bring me happiness. Talking with the friends.
The comedy.
Speaking of comedy,
The Comedy is a film by one Rick Alverson from the year 2012, the year the world was supposed to end. But little did
they were
know it was 8 years off.
maybe they did.
But
Didn't you see that?
it's starring.
What conspiracy?
about like what
Wayfair
calendar?
conspiracy?
The Wayfair conspiracy. No, like the
They're
calendar
hiding
conspiracy.
children in the pillows.
I want to see my name.
You guys
on the
interrupted
dresser
my
after
movie.
this episode. No, wait, I want to hear about this conspiracy.
No, it's the.
C is not for conspiracy; it's for The
Yeah.
Comedy,
Fine.
which is a movie
I had
directed by
We'll talk
Rick.
about it afterwards.
I had a shirt that used to have a big C on it for Criterion, and everyone would ask me if the C was for Carter. So that was hilarious.
Yeah, the audience really cares.
Okay, whatever.
Dude, this is a
They're here for
hostile
movies.
episode.
This is
They're here
the
for the
worst
film.
episode we've
They're.
ever done.
Dude, I think
What's
two is
okay?
better than this.
Question.
What?
What's your favorite word for a movie? I like flick. I like a flick. Also, I've been using picture.
I
Calling
was
it a
about to
picture.
say, picture is funny.
I like to call
Cinema.
The worst
Cinema's funny.
word is film. I'll only use that in like.
Wait, really?
Like, I'll only use that if I'm like writing something like. If I'm writing something
Film, you
that's.
kind of sound like an asshole.
So I'm saying if I'll
I
use
call 'em
that.
talkies.
Cinema. Is,
Talkie. I like
we're gonna go.
I like
Gotta go see a
film.
talkie.
I'll use film if I'm like writing something that's like what's the word I'm looking for? If I'm writing something that's in a more formal format, I'll use a film.
Yeah, that seems like the more formal word.
But like I'm not gonna be like, oh, you wanna go see a new film?
I always say
Film?
movie.
Wanna go see the film in
Yeah.
the cinema?
Say movie or flick.
Like cinema.
Cinema is funny. That's
Cinema. Go to the cinema, the theater.
Motion picture.
I
My
like talkie.
favorite
That's why he's a
auteur.
talk.
Talkie is a
auteur.
good one.
This is part of the
Is it? Wait,
Canon.
how do you pronounce that?
auteur. Auteur, you're right.
I always said auteur.
Not Tori.
I think you're a little.
Yeah, I think
Aut-
I'm a little R-worded.
I was gonna say aut.
Autauted.
Is this really?
You see that stuff on
Is this really
Twitter?
the C
You see the stuff on
Whatever,
Twitter?
I'll clip this and put it on
The
movie
you,
by the letters.
do you see that
clip.
video on TikTok of the girl with like who had autism with like the hearing thing?
Yes, I
What
did
are you
see
talking
that.
And then people are just absolute assholes. It'd be
Yeah.
like, I literally saw a tweet that was like, "Yeah, good. Too bad girls can't have autism."
Yeah, they can't
Those
have
are
autism, but they can't
idiots.
poop.
It's like
things girls
it's
can't
like
do.
it was like a girl who has like who gets like sensory overload in her ears and has like
Wow.
autism, and people are like, people think that because she's like semi-attractive that she's like doing it as a bit.
Oh, like pretending
People
to be
just-
autistic?
People are like both one don't know what autism is and that it's a spectrum, and two are like being misogynistic about it also.
Yeah, I saw
It's like a
that.
double lame, but that's
I guess I gotta delete my comment.
you were one of them. Okay, speaking of funny,
She's too pretty.
the comedy.
Bombs.
All right, I'm hitting the
Speaking
I'm
of
hitting-
A-bombs, let's
All
talk
right,
about
we're
the
gonna
police
cut all
now.
of this
I'm hitting the
out.
movie button.
Did you just say let's talk about the police now?
He said that.
Guys,
We're hitting the movie. That was like months ago. Well, I mean, it's still going
Oh,
on.
Yeah, it's still
it,
going
on.
yeah, it only happened once a month ago.
yeah, asshole.
You know what I mean?
Where were you at the protest, John?
I know who you were with.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, the comedy.
Nick was
As I was
protesting.
saying-
He was on the police side.
Yeah, I was actually against. I was against the
He's
protest.
the one who pushed that old man.
No, it happened.
He spit on
Shout
him.
out to my hometown, Buffalo, New York.
Oh god.
I was there yesterday.
They were defending them from that.
Yeah.
Okay,
That crazy
come
old
on.
man.
Can
We
we
just
please-
watched a movie with a threatening old man. In
All
it,
right.
So.
Freddie.
No.
Tom
Carnival of
Green.
Souls.
Okay, the
And
comedy.
Celebration.
The comedy.
Are we, should we just do
Okay,
this
the
over?
comedy.
The comedy.
No, it's fine.
Comedy.
Whatever.
The comedy.
Okay, let's do the
2020
comedy.
film. Rick Alverson.
2020.
Starring one Tim Heidecker of Lean.
I'm not talking right now.
I'm just saying, don't forget. Starring
I know.
one.
Don't forget to play shield mic.
Oh, by the way, I don't have a pop. filter, so.
Starring. Okay, the comedy stars one. I feel like we should honestly restart this.
Yeah.
Why? I
that's what
think
I'm
it's been
saying.
good so far.
Hang on, I got something though.
You think
I
it's
guess
been
we start.
bad?
Ready? Hang on, give me a second.
No, just do the comedy. This will be like the E episode. We talked about Venom.
But these
for
are
like
all good movies.
10
Or
minutes.
these are all interesting movies we actually want to talk about.
Yeah,
should
I
say.
know. We can keep
Well-
talking about them. It's fine. I put timestamps. If you think this is dumb, you can click on the comedy.
you should
and
go.
We'll talk about the comedy.
I think you should go.
Sorry, I'm guessing.
Okay, can we move
This
into?
isn't stuff the fans.
I want to
are
at least
for.
give my introduction about.
Yeah, I
And
gave
you
the
guys
option,
interrupted me like-
No, you yelled at me for sitting back and
I
listening to you.
whispered. Don't forget you have to, because you told us that you were having issues.
Yes, so
with
that's why
leaning
you should
forward.
have assumed I was just leaning back so I could hear you talk about your
I
movie.
know.
Hear me.
I don't know. Nick's listening.
Okay, let's start it.
Okay, the comedy. It from 2012. Rick Alverson has said this, starring one Tim Heidecker of Tim and Eric fame, of On Cinema fame, of Us fame, of Eastbound and Down fame. Funny guy, resident funny guy. Also stars a couple of his. The other end of Tim and Eric. Not stars, but you know what I mean.
Post
And it's hard to explain what this is about. It's kind of I'd say it's a character study of one man, upper class man living in New York, with a bunch of his buds, and it's kind of just. I honestly, there isn't really a plot synopsis I can give to this, but I guess it's. I don't want to. Okay. Well, we'll just go. We'll get into it. What did you guys think about it?
I saw it twice, so
I also saw it twice.
I've seen it once.
Let's get a Nick
we
thought
saw
first.
Yeah, let's hear what
Nick?
Nick says.
I thought it was okay. I don't know how I honestly think.
Okay.
That's why I feel like I need a second.
That was
viewing.
like my exact reaction when I first watched it. I was like, okay, so the first like 20 or so minutes. Tim and Eric are weird people, and especially Tim does a lot of very interesting and bizarre side projects like On Cinema and
Yeah.
like
A
The Trial and
masterpiece.
stuff. So like, I'm not gonna lie, for like the first third of this movie, I thought it was like a joke movie. Like I thought it was a parody of indie movies. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is not funny. Like, I don't know, I was very confused when I first watched it.
Me
And then going a second time and watching it for a second time, knowing what it was. I definitely liked it more. I still have a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not entirely sure what they were going for. But I think Tim Heidecker is great in it, and I think it is a clever subversion of modern humor, and especially considering like what Tim's humor is on the Tim and Eric show.
It's gonna be one of my
like-
talking points.
Like their style of comedy is this movie is essentially what if that comedy existed as a real life person, and like that's how they acted all the time. And I think that's very interesting. I mean, also it's a lot about like the modern millennial hipster culture. I think that's like we mentioned before this podcast, the lead singer James Murphy of the band LCD Sound System.
And it's set in Williamsburg, which is like the haven for that kind of people. It's known for that.
Yeah, it's like the most famous hipster band of all time, and they often joke about how they're a hipster band. So like, choosing him to be one of Tim's best friends is really an interesting decision. It's a interesting movie. I'm fascinated by it. I don't really know if I like it, but I think there's a lot here. I definitely think it's an underrated movie because no one talks about this movie. I haven't seen this movie anywhere, even among the Tim and Eric fan base. But I don't know. I'd like to discuss it with you, gentlemen.
So
No, I'm good.
I think I think the two viewings for me really kind of cemented my opinions on it and helped me kind of get a grasp on what exactly. Because the first time going through, I definitely felt a little lost on what like I got like hints of what they were going for, but I couldn't quite like put it all together in my mind. But second viewing really kind of became more clear to me, and I think it boils down to being about how that sort of ironic humor leads to so much detachment and a loss of empathy, and it erodes any sense of empathy that a lot of people have. And I think that the casting is really a genius way to explore that, because these are people who have made their livings off this kind of humor, and I'm sure that a lot of this, I'm sure that they probably struggled from this. And I think that's why I really want to talk about the ending. I think it's weird to start with the ending, but
Yep, the ending.
I think the ending to me is almost like I couldn't help but like see Tim's character as Tim the entire time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that
that's
to
how
me
I
was
felt.
like, oh, once he had kids, like kids is what changed things for him. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
just saw it as this is like the first genuine interaction with the person I've seen in the whole
And
movie.
that's what I'm saying.
It's also kind of sad to think, because I think as a society, we live in a society,
Thank you.
we've become more and
Society.
more detached from trauma, and like we don't know how to handle horrific things.
So we approach it with humor.
So we approach it with nothing matters, everything is a joke, and we're all like dead, empty shells.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like look at the reaction to like. I don't want to get too political here, but like meme culture is based around like, let's take these things that are
They're
upsetting
serious.
and
Yeah.
Make jokes about
serious and like scary, and just make jokes about it, and nothing matters. And I think that's very harmful, but it's also, the ending's kind of upsetting because you know that that little kid could end up becoming
the same.
the same or more so, of detached from reality, detached from emotions. And I think we've definitely been moving farther and farther towards that as a culture.
I guess
So-
I read it. I read it as like a beautifully hopeful moment in what was a completely cynical movie.
Yeah, I
saying
took it as
that
more hopeful.
saying that if there is any hope, that it lies with children, and it
The
lies
next
with.
generation.
And I see it as like this generation will grow out of this humor, and they'll have kids, and they'll begin to empathize, and they will grow out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this could also be seen as a response. And I think Tim and Eric are one of the main reasons that type of humor is
They-
so popular. They
yes.
popularized it.
And I feel like
I think
they.
this is a response to the culture that was raised on that type of humor, by saying like, we can't live our lives this way. If we treat everything as a joke, we become horrible, emotionless people.
Yeah, it's using comedies as a mean to detach, right? It's using comedies as a mean to detach from anything that's going bad in your life. Like, he obviously has some serious issues with his father, and
Yeah,
instead
and
of
it's-
facing that head on, he makes jokes.
With his brother being a drug addict.
He makes
and
jokes about it, and everything
and-
in life he makes jokes about.
He can't connect with anyone around him. His
A girl-
only friends are the other people who are just as detached as him.
A young girl has a seizure in his boat, and all he can do is stare. And I
Yeah.
thought I really think as a climax, that was like a genuinely deeply disturbing, and I think it was a really like great scene, in my opinion. That, and like I found that in like his cab ride, like two like really like
Fascinating.
menacing moments of like him in the cab, like kind of yelling at this guy, and like when he took over the wheel, and like the guy's screaming at him to stop. Like I found the way that he was like portrayed in the backseat with like shadows over him, I found it like almost menacing. You know what I
think
mean?
maybe the most interesting scene to me in the movie happens very early on, like maybe like 15 minutes in, and so throughout the movie, Tim. What's his name in the movie?
No idea.
Because I just viewed him as
Whatever. Tim Heidecker.
because that's what it is.
It's supposed to be him.
That's what it
so
is.
Whatever. He notices throughout the movie, he gets essentially these like minimum wage, like blue collar jobs,
Yeah.
or he doesn't get them. He just decides, I want to be a part of this. So He does it at does it first at a basically a mansion he goes to, and he sees a bunch of laborers working on their gardening, and he goes over and he just starts helping them, and then he calls the owners of the house over and is like, "Yep, these are my boys, and they've been wanting to swim in your pool, so do you want them, like, are we allowed to go swim in your pool?" And it's two rich white people, and they're clearly uncomfortable with these people going in their pool. They don't want them in their pool, even though they're working them, and they're all ignoring the fact that there are people there, and they're just, like, talking about how they want to organize their flowers and stuff. And it's interesting to me because it feels like Tim was trying to make a point there, like trying to point out how poorly these people are treated and how we essentially ignore their work, and then he just walks away. It's a fascinating scene because I think it almost feels like he wants to help people, and he wants to point out the flaws in our society, but he doesn't have the energy, or he doesn't know how. I don't know, this movie's... It's not fun at all.
So, okay, that's another thing I want to bring up. I think another interesting thing about this is that so many times when any of them are making a joke, like, it's so often focused on like, the blank reactions. Like, the first scene in the hotel room, it's a comedy without laughs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I just think that's... Because I'm not gonna say I genuinely laughed. I think there are a couple funny moments in this. Like, he makes a joke. I wrote this down. He makes a joke about he does a Nick Nolte impression that's pretty funny, and then he... I gotta find it.
Well, that was like one of the only scenes where the person laughed.
That's what I'm saying. This is he says when he does the Timothy McVeigh joke, and says the building had it coming. But that was pretty. That was like a genuinely funny moment.
I think people laughed at that.
That's an aside.
About his hipster conversation where he talked about, like, at the party where he was talking about, like, Hitler and, like,
with a girl, yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting because it feels like I've seen and like I've overheard.
There are people who make those points totally serious.
No, not even like that. But, like, that's one of those edgy youth hipster conversations where it's like, I'm just gonna say something radical and stupid, like neither of the people know what they're talking about, and they're just like going on, and they're both trying to sound as smart as possible.
Or I took it as, well, obviously I think that his character, it like has some biases, judging like by the scene where he's in the bar, like,
oh yeah, he's super
obviously
racist.
And so what I took that as is like maybe he's expressing like genuine like bad thoughts he has like politically, and this girl is unable to even understand that because she just thinks he's joking. You know what I mean? And it like
line between what is right and wrong
and like
to say
what joke
is like impossible to distinguish anymore because we have no idea if they're being ironic or sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
But like none of what he says is jokes. It's all just like black people are stupid.
Yeah, that
like,
seems
the
like
whole thing where like he was pretending to be a slave master, and like there was no actual jokes or like any like punchlines. It was just him being a slave master. But I think like there's a lot of people who think like I think that's also just a response to like
ironic
edgy
racist humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you can get away with just like being racist by being like, well, it's
like
ironic, like I don't actually think that.
And that's
like the whole black people music part.
That bar scene. Well, going back to the bar scene, I think is really interesting because I forget what the name of the town is. What's it? Williamsburg is what it's called, I think.
Yeah.
Is like I was reading a little bit about this, and it's like a notoriously like what's the word I'm looking for?
Gentrified.
It's like a notoriously gentrified community, where like these groups of like hipsters, I guess, if you want to boil them down to that, kind of took it over. You know what I mean? So I thought that was like an interesting take on that.
Because he was saying, like, we should have some white people in here.
Yeah. He's talking about...
That whole scene kind of makes me think, too, he's... he probably doesn't think of himself as a racist.
Because he thinks he's joking.
But he thinks he's joking, but, like, he's probably joked about black people so much in front of white people and, like, made
no
racist
reactions.
jokes.
Yeah.
And I think he probably, like, genuinely doesn't know how to interact with black people anymore. Because, like, they've just become this object of ridicule and, like, this is who we make jokes about. So, like, seeing him actually have to face black people and try to interact with them, he just has no idea how to, and it's just, like, has this, like, caricature of who black people are in his mind.
Yeah, this movie's honestly, like, it's like an honestly, like a somber movie. Like, I found myself, especially on the second viewing, being like, it kind of like almost forced me to like confront like jokes, like my sense of humor, the jokes I've had in the past.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like a, what's the term I'm looking for?
Self-reflection.
No, it's like a cautionary tale. Like, you do not want to let yourself dwell this far into irony, like, because it erodes all sense of empathy you have with the world.
There's a few moments that I think don't fit with the movie.
I totally agree.
I'm completely confused.
Church scene, I think could have been cut.
Church scene, I guess it was like they're disrespecting the sacred. I think my main problem with this movie is it's so plotless and it's so repetitive.
That I was gonna say, my problem
it's so bare of any emotions that it becomes really difficult. Like, I was not excited to rewatch this.
I don't think I have no problem with like the plotlessness of it. I just think that it really hammers home its point a little too much. I do think that it meanders a touch.
Like the scene where he's talking to Greg Turkington about the homeless people.
They just want to throw Greg in there.
Yeah, but
I get what you're saying.
See how that contributed to anything.
I think it was commentary on how these kind of people view
Like
lower
poor
class people. That's how I picked it up.
I guess so, but like, I don't know. That scene just went on for like 10 minutes, and it was really just like, oh, they're making jokes about hobos, and then it just kept going up. I don't know. The movie just as a whole felt really repetitive, and that made it kind of hard to sit through for me.
Yeah, I totally get that. I don't think it's like perfect by any means. I think I agree with you. I think it's a fascinating movie. I think that what it has to say is really smart, and I think that the meta narrative and who they cast is kind of genius, and is pretty perfect. And they couldn't have made this movie with anyone else, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I liked it even more on second viewing.
I think I got it a little more on the second viewing.
That's what it like really clicked for me.
One of the things that stuck out to me was the scenes where they would all bully their one friend.
Who the only like the
only
genuinely
one who had emotions, and like the only one who like came from a bad place, because he mentioned like his parents died when he was so like he actually has dealt with struggles in his life. So like I think he is a more genuine and emotive person than the rest of them.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was going on.
Like at this point, I mean, Tim's so far in his life that like when problems actually do arise, like his father dying, like his brother's in rehab, he can't possibly emote because he has no feeling. He's so detached from reality.
Yeah, I think it's a very like wandering film.
It's draining.
Yeah, it's because it's so drained of. And I know, obviously, that's what it's going for.
So, there's no one you can latch on to. It's so detached. The movie is detached from. That's why
I love the ending so much, because I think it's like, I just took it as like kind of being in like a really, really like deeply cynical movie. I found it to be like this one moment of like almost like a really beautiful moment of like hope.
Yeah, it was real.
And just like the waves crashing and like how it cut the credits. I really loved the ending. I thought it was fantastic. Nick, I feel
Nick,
bad.
You've been quiet this whole time. I don't
we
think
kind
you
of
like the movie. What's up?
I don't know. I would say my biggest problem was the plotlessness. It made it very hard for me to get through because I just kind of felt like I was meandering through this.
Yeah, and it's not very long, but it
It
feel
feels long though.
Actually, I never felt really like this needs to be over sort of thing.
I did.
I didn't feel that because like it wasn't like this needs to wrap up. It was just like a random collection of scenes from this guy's life. I don't think it works without the context of who Tim and Eric are.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can hold that against it.
No,
I think the casting is
it's for a specific group of people by a specific group of people. And that's the context under which I think it's important and it works.
It made me want to watch this guy's other movies.
I don't know. Also,
I don't think it was very well made.
Yeah, a big problem with this movie is how it looks. It looks super
ugly,
like,
and
it's
that's
so
what
uninteresting.
and it's all close-ups, and that's what kind of made me think it was.
I think the close-ups are purposeful.
Like, yeah, it is, but I also think that's why there's a few scenes that like feel like a parody of an indie movie. Like there's
the opening shot with them jumping around.
No,
That's what I.
the scenes where there's a gang of them on their bicycles.
Yeah.
while, like,
I think that's
lo-fi music
supposed to be
plays.
like. I actually think the soundtrack's pretty good.
And like, no, I didn't mind it, but like that seemed like.
Yeah, that's totally what it was going. But like,
do you think so?
yeah, because I think that I don't like seeing that like people will probably boil this down just being like, ooh, this movie's dunking on hipsters.
Yeah.
When it's totally more than that. But there definitely are some scenes where it's like, yes, we're dunking on
And like,
hipsters.
like they're at the party, the
Especially,
one
like-
kid's dancing with the vinyl in
And
his
especially
hand.
like how ridiculous they all look on those tiny bikes,
Yeah.
because like Eric's such a big dude. Seeing him on that bike is really funny.
Yeah, and they all drink the same brand.
The
of, like,
the Paps.
Yeah.
The Paps is always funny. Which is like it's totally this movie is definitely doing that.
Just
but I don't
made me
think
think
it's
of
doing
Blue Velvet.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Heineken. Fuck that shit.
But I just don't want to. It sucks because I'm
That's my
sure
review.
people.
This just made me want to watch Blue Velvet. No,
Very similar movies. This and Blue Velvet.
I don't know. Like, I think Tim Heidecker does give a great performance.
He's a
like,
great actor.
I'm really
he's a
glad
really good
he was
actor.
able to flesh it out in this movie. But then again, like the plotlessness really was kind of dragging me along.
Certainly not
And
for everyone.
After
Yeah,
after
for
hearing
sure.
everything
Like,
you
you've
guys
ever
have
danced
said,
At a party,
Vinyls.
holding
I'll
a
do it right
vinyl
now.
in your hand.
Am I? If anything
is
screams
for you.
hipster.
If you've ever
If you ever bought a Criterion,
If you've watched Tim and Eric and enjoyed it,
yes.
and not been like, "What the fuck is this?" then you should check out this movie and see the other.
I want to
side
give it a
of
rewatch.
if you're a
honestly,
memer, if
because
you're
now
if
I just
you're
feel like I
if
need
you
to
are
give it another
Definitely
chance.
liked it more. On
if you're
Yeah,
a
I need
heavy Reddit user, this
Yeah.
one's for you.
This one's for you all, you subreddit.
Now, if you're a 4chan user, you'll be like, "I like what this guy's saying."
he's onto something. I don't know. I think it's a really good character study, like a modern character study.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating movie. For
I just-
sure. Definitely one of the more interesting ones we've watched.
Agreed.
I just need a rewatch, I think. I need to...
Yeah.
I just remember when I first watched it, I was like, I have no.
Yeah, that's how
idea
I felt.
the
I
fuck
had
to
no
feel
idea
about
how to
this.
feel.
Totally. I felt kind of lost. I had inklings of what it was going for, but I couldn't it was on the tip of my tongue, what exactly, and then it really kind of clicked with me.
I would say
It's like I'm
definitely
doing.
for me. I still have a lot of problems with it, but I certainly understood what it was going for more
I'm so
on the
split
second
on it.
watch.
Okay, let's go.
Scores? 5 out of 10. I need a rewatch, though. I'll be fair.
What was that, like a 6? I'll give it a 7. I think it's I don't know. I'll think about it. It might be a 7, might be a 6. Whatever. I don't know. It works outside of most movies, I think.
I think I'm at a 7, but I was between 7 and an 8, to be honest. But I think I'm gonna stick with 7 for now.
Alright.
It's I don't do halves, but I would say it would probably be a 7.5.
I stopped doing halves. interesting.
I'm gonna do the 100-point scale.
Yeah, that'd be.
If it was the 100-point scale, I'd say like 70, 74.
No, we're not doing
Oh, by the way,
100%.
a lot of critics hated this movie.
Yeah, I saw
which
that.
doesn't surprise me. Most critics are old people who would not understand what this movie
Another
is going
funny
for.
tidbit: they put out a pirated version of this, and like I forget, it was like they sent out like a version, and like it's like just 20 minutes of like. It's like 20 minutes
It's
of
like
him
the
like
first-
sitting on a boat.
No, it's the first 10 minutes of the movie, right? And then it's like it cuts to him sitting on a boat, right?
And I feel like it says something. I don't remember exactly.
This is like pirating movies is wrong.
Yeah, which
That's
is
what you said.
Which is really funny. I think.
Yeah, but you told me that, and then I went into this movie expecting like a parody movie or like a fake movie, and
Totally not that.
That's why I think that's where the confusion came in.
I went into
for the
this
first 30
movie
minutes.
expecting nothing, and I came out not
Expected
knowing
Tim and
what I
Eric
just-
gags.
Honestly, I kind of had
Jim
one
and
in like
Derek.
that.
And when it started, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a really funny parody of like indie movies," and then I was like,
Totally not that.
by the end, it was
like,
like
depressing.
Oh, he just watched a girl have a seizure.
That scene is
and-
really like it seems hard to watch. It really is.
I don't know. Interesting movie.
Oh, you liked watching that scene?
Oh no.
Little freak.
That,
What's
that
that?
whole relationship was also interesting to me.
Is the
Yeah.
only person who he can
Kinda
connect
got-
with on a humorous
Yeah.
level. Because she was,
Fellow millennial.
she seemed young. She was younger.
She was younger, but
She was
like
12.
you know, from the same breed of people.
Hipster.
Ew.
Yeah,
Maybe. I
Whatever.
don't know.
Alright.
she definitely seemed to be more of a real person. Than
Good
Gave
discussion.
Scores. We're done with this movie.
Okay.
Throw it in the trash.
Good
We're done with
discussion,
it.
John.
Yeah, I
you
didn't-
guys,
I didn't
you
have
guys
anything
kind
to
of.
say.
I understand what Nick is saying.
You guys-
like what? It's hard going in because I think I would have been more like Nick if this was off my first watch.
I didn't have anything to
Because
say.
I was really lost after
Fuck,
my
maybe
first
No,
watch,
me too.
Talking
honestly.
But you guys kind of touched on my talk. My talking points were like talking about ironic detachment and meta narrative and discussing the ending. You
Alright.
guys
Oh,
kind of
sweet.
touched on that. And I was going to talk about like how there's no laughing.
Nick, did you look up who directed your movie?
Yes.
Okay, sweet.
Would you like me to move into my movie?
All right, are we moving on?
Moving on, moving on, moving on, moving
ready?
on.
Good talk, guys.
I decided to go with Carnival of Souls because it sounds spooky.
Sounds a little scary.
Directed by Herk Harvey.
Herk Harvey.
Yeah.
What
The
a-
whitest
what a
name
fellow.
ever.
Hi, old Herk Harvey
He
here.
actually played the bad guy in this movie.
Herk Harvey with the
Oh, the
coming with the
old-
evening news.
The old ghoul.
The old guy,
This 1962
That sounds
movie,
like if you were gonna make up a fake name.
Herk Harvey.
Hey,
Harvey,
Herk,
yeah.
hey, Herk Harvey here, or like a newscaster.
He
name.
might be a mafia man. I
Over
don't
to Herk Harvey with the weather.
know.
Anyway,
But this movie
Sorry.
is a cautionary tale about women drivers. I'm kidding. This this movie is
this
about
is the episode that gets us canceled.
yeah.
This is where
Cancelled.
a Vox
Sorry.
article is
We just got
written
off the
about
comedy.
us.
I wanted to lighten it up a little bit.
Listen to this
And,
people.
sexist podcast.
Sexist podcast. Anyways,
Movies by the letter.
alright. This movie is about a woman who crashes her car, and she so happens to be.
She
an
doesn't
organ
crash it.
donor. Yeah, the guys totally ran her off the road, but they don't go into that.
Debatable.
So she crashes her car in the river and kills her friends. But
She didn't
survived.
kill her friends.
Who was driving? Whatever. Friends die in the accident. Jeez, can I get
More
done
than
with the
friends
description?
died in the accident.
I don't know. So she has to move to this new town because she's an organ player. She's got hired by a new church, but she does not believe in the church or something like that.
Obviously, you didn't. You're giving away your feelings on this one pretty early.
Come on, keep going.
That's basically the
That's
whole
pretty.
story.
This
she
is
sees-
another like
she
kind
sees
of.
spooky things.
This is another hard to
Which
pin down a
story?
plot.
I thought this movie was really repetitive.
Hey,
And-
aren't we supposed to give our
Yeah,
opinions
wait.
first?
Yeah. You're
Actually,
supposed
yeah.
to ask.
Carter,
Okay.
what did
Can I
you
go
think
first?
of
I wanna
this?
go first.
John, you go first then.
So, I'd say for the first, I don't know, like hour of this, I had mixed feelings about this movie, and then the ending hit, and I was like, it was an epic fail ending. It was a real
What the
epic
fuck?
fail.
I think I
had a
So
similar experience.
here's the thing,
Yeah, me too.
here's what I'll start with what I liked about this movie. I think it looks great. I think there's some really cool shots. I like the shots. Any shot of an organ, like this organs
cool.
from
Yeah.
above. There was a shot where it was like looking down the stairs and the guy walked. I think it looked good. I think it was well shot.
Some cool
Especially
experimental editing.
there was some cool editing. The one specific shot I liked was when there was like the ballroom in the ends when they're all dancing. I thought that was with the like hanging lights. I thought that was
until they
very
started
cool.
running.
I think that this movie, I think it was trying to say something interesting. Like it had
too.
hints of like like saying
feminism.
something interesting about when she's like, why does nobody listen to me? Like of a woman feeling invisible after trauma, stuff like that.
But
I think it
stuff with like men harassing
yeah, but it
her
never
and
fully
overbearing men.
knew how to
did not.
tie it up.
It does not
Did not
tie it up.
stick
at
Which
landing.
all.
really stunk. It really stunk
It
because
had like this double backflip and then snapped its neck on the end.
like
I don't know
the
what they
whole
thought.
sequence where she's with the guy in the restaurant and she takes him home. It was like building up to like a really climactic sort of thing, and then it kind of just pitters off. And I was like, really, man?
Yeah, it just ends with her seeing a man, and then the guy's just like, "I'm out of here."
And then,
This
like,
movie's
it-
so fucking boring.
It gets
is
into
so
some.
boring.
It gets into like
Fucking
it tries.
forced.
It goes into like Lynchian, like
It's
which is
just-
obvious pre-Lynchian.
just like fucking. Let's see this old man again. For
It's
the
so
same
tedious.
time.
Yeah.
We've seen this creepy old guy 20 times now. Sometimes they just reuse shots in different locations.
Yeah.
The carnival is also. I thought
Fucking
the set.
see the old man in a bathtub.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
It's so boring. And
God.
'Cause I had-
get that it was trying to say stuff. I don't think it really fully
It did not, it did
realized
not.
what it was trying
Which
to
is a
say.
bummer.
It was not scary at all.
No.
It was.
It's funny.
It was most. It had no plot.
Also, what I think is funny is I was fully coming into this preparing to be like it being heavy on like the carnival setting, and then it's
Yeah,
there for
what the
it's
hell
like there for like
no,
10
the
minutes.
carnival setting was awesome too. They
Which
did
is
nothing with
I wish it was just
It's
a
like,
horror
all
movie
right, we're in the
that.
carnival.
They spent like
And back to the boring house we go.
40% of a B&B that looks boring as hell.
Or church. And like there's some stuff going on with like
Carnival
religious
source.
imagery. I don't know. what's going
Yeah,
on.
and she's like, I'm an atheist, and that never comes into play.
It's just-
she gets fired.
It seems like
And
something
then
that
it's like, oh, she was dead the whole time.
it seems like it seems unfinished. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
It feels which I don't know if that's just because it's so short or if it feels like things are cut out. I don't know.
I might be calling studio interference.
That's
in
that
here.
too. It
I'm
seems
thinking this might have, because she was given some attitude in the beginning. I think this might have had an edgier ending.
Me
with
too.
her standing up to the men who abuse her in her life, but instead it was the classic. She was dead
This
the
is an
whole
indie
time.
movie,
which like I could
This
see
is an
it.
independent film.
Oh, then I don't know.
I could see
don't
it
know what they were
working
going
as a
for.
sort of like like a nihilistic ending, like oh women will never escape this. Like, and I could see what it was going for with all the people chasing, like sort of like anxiety thing, like.
But it looks so
But it just-
fucking goofy.
It looks
It
terrible.
just doesn't
They all-
execute on it.
No,
It's a really
that's-
good
that's-
concept that is never really
People, they
executed
have
on.
black circles in
Yeah.
their eyes. That means they're
It's a
ghouls
bummer.
or
It was
It's-
like some Scooby Doo shit
You
when
make
they were.
sure-
What I want to say is
Jump scare.
this movie it bummed me out because I think it's got it.
I went into this movie thinking, alright, I fucking love horror movies. So this is probably gonna be something I'm interested in,
Me
right?
too.
And fuck me, they dropped the ball on the horror. Nothing interesting happens with the horror.
Not a scary movie.
Yeah,
So boring.
There's a
This
funny-
is like
bummer.
shitty vampire 30
Yeah.
years later.
Vampires so awesome.
Like, they have this cool effect when like she enters into like this other.
That I
Film
thought
or
that scene was cool.
Yeah,
Where,
that
like,
But then they
cool.
just
she
do
came
it
out.
again.
Yeah, and then they do the same exact effect. It's just repetitive.
And it turns out to be a-
fucking boring. I was so bored.
And the whole like it was all a dream. And she was dead the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
understand.
It's like the
that.
most cop out
Like
ending.
escaping death.
It's
I
like they
guess.
didn't know
Like
how to end
yeah,
it.
I knew that it was
Whatever.
going for sort of like oh this woman like it's like she escaped, she dodged death, she beat him,
Yeah.
but now he's coming after her.
Most obvious like old movie thing. This feels like a homage to like really old horror movies.
Yeah, which I
'Cause
thought that
I
was
thought
cool.
this movie came out in like the 30s.
felt
when I
like
started
older.
it, and then I was like, oh no, it's
Which I think
62.
that aspect was a
But
little
also
cool.
like knowing that movies like Psycho and like like other horror movies that were earlier than this that like were way like what's it called? Diabolique.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's just
all of those
pretty crazy
movies
imagery.
Are like are way scarier and just
Psycho
generally
came out-
have a better.
I don't know if
has a better
Psycho's
plot.
that scary.
Psycho came out 2 years
I
before
haven't seen
this.
Psycho
Psycho's-
in like 3 or 4
His
years.
Psycho's
so
like
maybe if I watch
creepy.
it
It's a
again.
little
I just remember
off-putting.
the last shot being very.
Last shot is
exciting to
awesome.
me. I don't know.
And just the bait
Diabolique
things.
has some terrifying scenes.
The
and similar
bathtub.
scenes. And that
That's
came
what I'm saying.
out
If
before
this had like, if they did better with like the makeup and like really made it creepy, I think I would have been a little more
Well,
Yeah,
positive.
it had a
on
budget
it.
of $30,000.
feels like a lot for that.
Yeah. So what the fuck happened?
Yeah, it's
why
equal to
are
like
they- why
what
do they have,
300
like,
million
heavy
nowadays.
Why do they have like heavy eyeliner? And
My
that's
guess
their
is
only makeup.
They spent the entire budget on getting that carnival set.
It just seems like they found
Sounds
an
like they found
abandoned.
an abandoned.
Which I wish they just spent the entire time there because that place was
It looked
awesome.
so cool, and
That was where the
shot
best
was cool,
shots.
And then it's like, nah.
Bummer.
Very disappointing to me.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to talk. It like sucked the energy out of me.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
By the time it was over, I was
It
like,
sucked me
fucking
dry.
God.
I'm glad I didn't watch it alone because I would have been.
I would have been bored.
I would have been snooze town. It would have been. I would have been
Yeah.
like the girl in the car. I'd been like,
Seems cool. The title card is cool.
I have a new.
And then I was like, oh,
I have a
this is
new
probably
title
gonna be
for this
cool
movie, House of
experimental
I thought it was gonna be a
horror
cool
movie.
little short thing, and then
Feels long, and it's only like an hour. And
I
Yeah,
I didn't think it
feels-
felt long. I think
I
kind of.
thought it did.
I think it's just because it's so repetitive.
It's
With
so repetitive. There's really no structure or like narrative push.
it's like we have this interesting thing where, oh, what's gonna happen to the guys that she raced and basically try to fucking murder her? Well, they did murder her, and nothing happens to them.
That's life.
Disappointing.
That's society. Yeah. Bummer.
Very disappointing.
Bummer.
Oh my god.
What you gonna do? Can't all be hits.
Let's go for scores.
Who wants to go first?
I'm giving it a 4.
I was between a 4 and a 5. I'll probably round it down to a 4.
I was gonna go 3.
Zooey Mama.
I think it's because my expectations were high, to be fair.
Not fair. I'm
Zooey Mama.
kidding.
Whatever. Life's not fair.
Yeah.
I gotta
A
pull,
bit of a dud.
I gotta pull my notes for this next one.
Oh man.
This next one, I've also watched twice.
I want to watch it.
What does that mean?
By the filmmaker Thomas Vinterberg, who made the very popular indie film The Hunt, which is very good. I
Oh,
enjoy
the one that just came out.
No, not the Hunt, not the most talked
most
about
talked
movie,
about
of,
movie
the
of
year.
the year.
Oh, I just bumped
It's-
my microphone.
This movie was banned
Fuck,
by
No, this is gonna sound like
by
shit.
President Trump.
President.
He said,
Did anyone else get the CNN notification that President Trump is banning TikTok?
He is.
"Good riddance," is what I say.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, maybe ban
Maybe-
automatic rifles.
Yeah, and
Mr. Trump, you gotta get the kids off TikTok.
Is this Renegade?
They're doing all these dances.
Wait, is he just doing it because they fucked over
China.
his... No, I was
it's
saying
China.
because they fucked over his rally. Remember that?
Maybe.
It's so funny.
He's using China as a cover.
China.
Yeah, that honestly
Data.
might be it.
China.
Jesus Christ, find your notes.
Anyway, yeah, I'm
Okay,
trying
as our actual notebook over here.
Oh wait, I took notes
We
on
had
my
a
phone.
we had a regular Hardy we had a regular Hardy brother over
flipping
here.
through my notes.
We had
Let me
Nancy
pull up my parchment.
Nancy Drew over here.
Yeah, I wrote this on my scroll. I've got to unroll. Yeah,
I have a
just took-
lot. I should have deleted some.
All right, so a
I
little
didn't
bit
take
of
any notes.
This movie sucked.
a little bit of backstory on this film.
Can
before
I
we
say
get into it.
wait? Can I say
Wait,
one
what?
thing before you get into this? I don't know if you got this feeling, but this entire movie reminded me of the 2018 band banquet.
I wasn't there.
Doesn't it? That's how
No one will understand that.
That's
but
it's so inside baseball, but that's totally
Yeah.
the feeling I got watching a
I
bunch
get
of
what
this.
you
We'll get
Okay.
into it. We'll get into it.
mean. This film.
It's
I don't
also
know if
spooky.
any of you listeners out there are aware of the dogma
Dog,
movement,
the dogma.
or dog me, depending on
Dogma.
They say dogma, whatever.
I think it's dogma. Doesn't matter.
Lars von Trier, Nick's favorite filmmaker of all
I don't know
time,
why you act like I hate him.
I'm
I don't.
kidding.
He's just a fucking idiot
and
sometimes.
and Thomas Vinterberg and 2 other, I think, movie critics
Roger
created
Ebert.
this theory.
and Chris Stuckman.
No.
Joe, Angry Joe.
Yeah, Angry Joe. They made this theory that essentially it's a bunch of rules, and the main
Bunch of
gist
bullshit.
is
Bunch of stupid shit.
I like it. A lot of people,
I will say this is
a lot of people are like it's the dumbest shit ever.
This is
made."
a prelude-
And, like, yeah, it's silly, but no one actually follows it, and it's just a cool aesthetic.
This
choice,
might be
I
a
think.
prelude to like, but I think this movie uses it.
No, it does.
This movie uses
Anyways.
it. Which isn't this the first one.
This was the first,
Which is,
Dogma
like,
movie.
extra
This was-
crazy 'cause,
this
like-
and The Idiots were the two like announcement films for the
very
theory.
different films.
I love The Idiots too. That's a
Idiots is
very
pretty great.
controversial movie. Anyways,
I wasn't gonna go there.
that
You gotta
movie
watch
goes
The
there.
Idiots.
The Idiots is cool.
I have to.
Cool is a weird word to describe The Idiots. Anyways,
It's cool. It's interesting.
It's dope.
yeah.
Listen, this is
All
an
of-
eye.
I've seen 3 Dogma movies, all by I guess auteur filmmakers.
What third one? What's the third one?
Julian Donkey Boy by Harmony Korine.
That's not. That's. Oh,
Yeah, it's
Kern?
yeah. He made
Spring Breakers?
Julian. Yes.
I have Gummo downloaded.
Gummo's
Spring
amazing.
Breakers is a Dogma movie?
I very much enjoy.
Spring. James Franco
I
stars.
very much enjoy Julian Donkey Boy. I like The Idiots.
I'm a The Beach Bum head.
Anyways, the theory is just
I like
use
trash
handheld
humpers.
cameras. Only use the sound you capture. You
Can't
jump
censor.
around in time.
Can't censor sex.
Can't censor sex. You have to.
Oh, yeah,
You don't have to, but you're encouraged to deal with controversial content.
Oh, yeah, this one
content.
does.
And it's
When he
supposed to
says fucking
be
Jack.
a response to blockbuster movies, like, oh, we're gonna strip it down, cinema at its barest. All that matters is the characters and the story.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah,
It led
I agree, it's
to,
interesting.
from what I've read, it's led to a lot of home video garbage that was like passed off as like, this is my masterpiece or whatever.
Look
Should
at my
talk-
dog.
wanna talk about.
film.
Want to talk about trash humpers?
For
I like. I'm a trash.
I like
humper.
trash humpers.
I like trash numbers too.
I'm a trash humper.
Anyways,
I'm a
this
trash
was
humper
the
head.
movie that announced it, and it was super exciting because it's freaking amazing.
This movie rules.
What do you guys think
This movie
of the
really.
celebration?
Okay, this movie. There are very few movies where, like, my genuine reaction to a scene is like a jaw drop,
Yep.
and this movie has like multiple of them.
Yeah.
This movie is fucking awesome. I loved this.
It's amazing. Nick, what are your thoughts?
I loved it.
Yes.
It was great.
This
Yeah.
movie rules
It's fantastic.
in so many ways.
At first I was off put, but then as soon as I
Yeah.
saw that guy leave his daughter and wife by the side of the road to
So
pick up
funny.
his brother.
Here's what I think is genius about this movie.
Wait, should we
I
talk
think
about,
that-
should we go over what it's about before we talk about
I guess,
why we
yeah.
like it?
Yes.
We haven't even talked about
It's a film
I was excited to talk about this one.
Me too,
about
man.
a celebration.
Celebrate good times.
Ah.
Come on. Dun, 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 dun,
It's-
dun.
Copyright.
It's a
The
celebration
60th birthday of
Had a
The-
record extraction
of the
there.
patriarch of the
yeah,
family.
of essentially.
His character's name isn't it just like the dad?
He looked
Yeah,
like-
it's just
Like all the
The
characters.
father.
No,
have,
he had,
like,
he had a real name.
yeah, he did.
Well, I was
It's
looking-
the father
Hilke?
of the family,
Something like that.
and there's been some family trauma beforehand,
Get
which
into
we
that.
learned
Some.
about. Some is immediately revealed to us. The first thing you learn is that their sister, one of the twins, there's twins in the family, committed suicide about a year prior. And it's clear that this has kind of affected every family member in different ways. You get to know each character a little. If we pull up a list of the names, I feel like I'd be able to talk
I think
about
I
them.
honestly think
I-
a lot of them don't
I
have
remember.
names.
Alright,
think
who are you
so?
talking about? Ready?
Wait, just pull it up.
No,
and then-
test me in. Test me.
What's the sister's name?
Yeah, what's the sister's name?
Oh,
You don't know. Yeah. Only like
I know the
main-
brother.
There is an
the
older
main
brother, a
character.
younger brother, a younger sister, a
Christian-
father, and a mother.
Yeah,
Christian
can we
was the
just
twin
pull
to
up
the
the names
sister.
so it would be easier
Yes,
than
I'll
saying
pull
older
up-
brother,
I'll pull up the names.
younger brother, and then I'll just hold it in front
I know
of them
Christian is
while I
one of
talk
the
about them.
Christian, Michael. Oh, fuck. It started with the J. I know that.
Oh, wow, Nick, you know all of the names.
Shut up, okay?
Christian, Federin,
Bring it up.
Fadring.
Michael, Helen.
Someone just put the cast list in
I
my
have
hand,
it!
in my hand, so then I can just read it off while I...
Toastmaster.
Yeah, he is an interesting character. Anyways,
He's my favorite. He's just like.
He's your favorite.
Anyways.
he's like one of the scummiest characters.
Yeah.
in the movie.
Anyway,
No, he's the best Toastmaster. He hears
he's
the,
not the best Toastmaster.
No, he hears the worst shit and he
He's
still
the
says,
most-
let's get this party started.
You know what? I will say he's the most dedicated.
He's the most
Toastmaster.
dedicated to
The
this
party must go on.
So,
He isn't flinched by anything.
yeah, Christian's the main character.
Oh, get a load of that guy.
He's
Anyways,
the main
Somebody get him a
character.
drink.
Let's get this
Right?
party started.
He is one of the twins of his twin sister committed suicide. I think
li-
about the year before.
He lives
Yeah.
over in Paris.
Yeah, he lives in Paris.
He's moved away from the family. The brother Michael is a family man, has a wife and triplets.
Yeah,
And-
family man.
Yeah.
And his sister. You don't know much about her in the beginning.
You know that she's like studying like foreign.
Yeah, she's kind of different. She's kind of artistic.
Yeah.
And she seems kind of detached from the rest of the family in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
The older brother, essentially, he's like an asshole. He's like,
He isn't. I thought he was. No, I thought he was younger.
oh, is he the younger brother?
I could have sworn.
No, the twins were the youngest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Yeah. So the older brother,
Because
Oh, yeah,
he was
he
in
was
boarding
away.
school.
He was away.
the older
boarding school.
brother Michael, I believe it is he's bombastic. He's loud. He yells at
He's
his wife.
racist.
He's racist.
Very racist.
We'll get into the racist
He's a flirt.
part later.
He's a blah, blah,
He
blah,
cheats
blah.
on his wife. All that stuff.
Dude, he has the
He's
monopoly on
just
fucked
generally
up
a
shit.
scumbag.
He has the
He's
monopoly.
Maybe not.
I
His
actually
family-
think-
Let's just say the
I think he's a more fleshed out character
Agreed.
than an asshole.
Yeah.
Because there's implied that there's been a lot of neglect to
Oh,
him
yeah.
in particular, and
My
just
notes are on it.
general ignorance of him. Because they just like offhandedly mentioning that he was away for like most of his childhood and wasn't.
Yeah.
So
He was put in
part
a
of his
boarding
character,
school.
he really wants to be part of the family. He wants to be one of the Freemasons.
And you see
I
that.
think that's the reason
The
why
Freemasons.
he's trying
They're so on the nose.
trying
It's
to
hilarious.
smooth over all the family drama which arises.
He and the Toastmaster
When
are the party.
He
crashers.
doesn't.
Christian
He
reveals-
obviously doesn't want to believe that any of this could.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
None of the family does.
they all pile in and
Soup's on. Ding ding ding.
yep, they're ready. It's like a 5-course meal and Christian stands up and says, I have 2 books.
Two
Two
letters.
letters.
Well, I've got 2 letters.
This guy didn't even watch the movie.
2 books.
You pick which one.
2 books.
Well, I thought he had a green and yellow book that he
No,
like,
it was 2
scribbled.
letters.
Okay.
Envelopes.
Either way,
All right, the
was
quality
like-
for this movie is not the best. It'll be honest.
you have to pick which one
Oh my god.
you want to hear.
And they both sound
uh,
terrible.
the book that the letter that is chosen is when dad has his bath, right?
Dad
Yeah.
has his bath.
And it is very casually revealed that their father would pretty methodically rape the twins. And
Very mic drop moment.
Yeah, the family doesn't know how
it
to
is
react at all.
revealed in a very
Oh,
explicit
the family
way
knows how to react.
that the father would repeatedly throughout their childhood rape them.
Yes.
And then
I think that's all we. I think.
that's
That's the
well,
only thing that's
So
revealed right
we'll
now.
talk about more. I want to get
The
in.
best way to discuss this movie would just be to go through the story, though.
Oh, I want to.
I don't
Can I
know.
talk about like?
Well, I wrote down the 3 talking points I want. It's
Well,
style,
let us give our-
the performances, and the message of the film.
Yes. So let me talk about something first. I think that one of the things I love most about this movie, and I think it's really genius in the way it reveals information.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way it starts.
It's a subversion of expectations.
It starts broad with the characters and zeroes in on them. And it introduces each character, lets us know just enough about them to like care about them and be interested and know there's some sort of backstory there, and slowly but surely throughout the film it zeroes in on what exactly is going on between them in such a genius way. And I think the way it's almost like, in some ways it's almost like a puzzle box film because it leaves little like stuff like the letter. It's like, oh, that's gonna come back into play later. Like little one-off
Love that.
Yeah,
stuff
Most
with like,
emotional scene in the movie.
It's so.
oh yeah,
when performances are incredible all
Yeah.
around the board.
All around performances.
Yeah,
are
amazing.
so that I was gonna get that out of the way. I just think it's as a storytelling, as a script, I think it's just a really fantastic screenplay.
Yeah.
I think it's really excellent. But we can go one by one with, what do you want to talk about first? Style? I think, should we go style
Style
first?
would be the
Yeah.
easiest to tackle first.
I think this uses the Dogma 95 style in, like, really awesome way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I
there's
would
some
agree.
really crazy, like, there's a shot of, like, seems like they taped the camera to some sort of, like,
Yeah.
flying object.
Yeah.
I thought it was a ceiling fan, but then it got lowered down to her face. So
I
I
don't know what
I
that
don't even know
was.
what it
Really
was.
fascinating.
And there's some really, like, great. When I think of, like, the
Takes a little to get
editing,
adjusted to. The
Oh, yeah.
editing, I think, is amazing.
Yeah.
And the
there's
best
editing
example of that
the
would
room
be
when they're all in the 3 rooms, right?
Yep. The
I think
scene
it-
where it's
it
cutting
cuts between those, I think it's great.
Each sibling.
It's a really
It's like perfectly building up like a climax happening to that sequence.
it's so much lots of tension. It builds tension excellently.
like the sisters playing the game and
It's very show-offy in the beginning, I believe. And
Yeah.
so, like, when the sister's driving to get there, it's very quickly edited. It's very snappy.
It's
It's
insane.
very stylized. But then...
best taxi driver ever.
So kind of just it shoves you in there, and this is what our movie is, and it's kind of difficult to adjust to. And then once more of the plot-driven stuff happens, once it's revealed that they were raped when they were children,
yeah.
it becomes kind of bare bones necessity.
I would say it was hard
And-
for me to get into it at first, but as
Yeah.
soon as the plot gets moving, immediately I was
oh yeah, in the beginning I was
Amazingly,
like, does this really need to be a
Yeah.
minimal Dogma 95 movie? Like it was like
I would
it
also-
annoyed me at first, but then I was like, okay, it's chaotically edited in a way that makes
I'd
sense.
also like to say-
Amazingly, it's not distracting. Once
Nope.
once
I
it, once you
totally
get, once you get
acclimated to it.
involved in all the characters, like I showed this to my girlfriend who isn't really aware of like Dogma or
Maybe you should make
like,
her aware.
Like I've told her about it, but like she's never seen any of the movies, and
Oh, what, you didn't watch The Idiots with her?
no. And we did watch Julian Donkey Boy together, and that is a movie which is that you do not acclimate to the style, and it is distracting. And even though I enjoy Julian Donkey Boy, that movie is not accessible in the slightest. And I
Trash.
honestly think you
Same.
can show this movie to most movie lovers.
The Celebration?
And yeah, and I
It's
think they
it's a really great family drama.
Yeah.
More than
And
anything.
I think like even people who maybe aren't that into movies, who just like really good dramas, will acclimate to the style enough where they get involved with all the characters and the drama in the movie.
And as specific the story it is and like how traumatic it is, it takes the family reunion to the extreme in a way
Yeah.
that like everyone can find, like, even obviously they're not gonna, I would hope most people won't relate to this on
Oh,
like
God,
a deeper
I hope
level,
not.
like on a
I can
more
re-
basic level,
yeah.
like this
of a family
of an
function
awkward,
gone awry.
yeah.
or just like the awkward tension of being at a family function with this many
Yeah.
people is totally
If you've
something.
ever been in a group setting where something upsetting or disturbing has been revealed,
Medina Mustang Band Banquet 2018.
but I mean, like it's a very relatable movie. Hopefully not to this level, but
yeah, God, I hope
just
not.
like the uncomfortable feeling of
if your family's like this,
no
get the
one
fuck
really wants to be there.
out. No,
Some people
I
want to
think-
be there.
I would
And, like-
say when the night goes on, no one wants to be there. And the
But
only
they
reason,
did. They
No,
Well, the
it
only
changes.
reason they
and
say-
that's
changes. The-
that gets into the point. I think
Yeah.
that gets into the thematic elements of this, which I think are also
Well, let's-
really great.
Are we done with the style?
yeah,
I think
there isn't much to say about it.
it's just I think that it does the Dogma thing perfectly, like almost
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think it fits the style. It isn't distracting, and there's some really
It
like
actually
cool.
enhances the
There's some
movie
really
in a lot of
cool
ways.
experimental stuff going on. With
Like,
it.
I genuinely think it makes the movie better.
Agreed.
I guess if I had one more thing to say, I'd be finding a copy of this movie was very hard.
We
Yeah.
put it. Didn't we put it in the?
I don't have access to that. I tried asking, and you guys ignored me.
It's in the movies by the letter.
Speaking of
Drive.
awkward moments.
No, I don't have access to that. I tried asking.
Oh, okay. The password is.
Bleep.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You should.
But I think that
But
going
yeah.
back to the style, I think that there's some like obviously I think there's like almost like found footage elements to it, like where some shots will look like it's almost like a camera in the corner of the room.
Yeah.
And it almost gives like viewer accountability to what's going on, like a feeling of you're there sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I don't have much more to say about the style. I think it's great.
Yep, I love this. Sorry if I've been bumping the mic this whole time.
Bumping and bustling and banging around.
Fucking
sucking.
fucking and sucking and
fucking.
ducking.
Fucking ducking.
Keeping that in. Bitch.
Do we want to go performances last, or do we want to do thematic elements?
Well, we still have to like go through the entirety of the story.
Well, I think we don't really have to. I don't think.
I want to.
I think we should touch on some
the
moments.
important aspect of this movie is that it deals with denial, and it
100%.
Very much.
It deals with ignorance of a problem in favor of convenience,
Especially
and in favor
upper
of
class
keeping things
scenarios.
running smoothly, running as they have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think this movie has a very uplifting ending.
100%.
Oh, hell yeah, I was cheering.
It's what I needed. It's really what I needed from this movie.
Especially considering how
clapping.
that comes from Michael, who's been one of the more problematic characters from the
And the
movie.
mother.
And the mother.
The
too.
mother completely.
I don't agree.
What do you mean?
She told him she had to leave also.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings on the mother.
Obviously,
Michael
no.
beat the shit out of his
100%. I obviously think the mom's a piece of shit too.
Oh yeah, me too.
But I think her telling him he has to
walked
leave.
I don't know if she fully changed by the end of the movie.
What I'm
think
saying
she
is,
still holds resentment at her family for casting their father.
here's the thing.
Definitely.
I think that she's a piece of shit. 100%.
Oh, obviously.
She knew what was going on and she didn't do anything about it. But I think if there's any possible redeeming thing she can do, it's a first
She
step.
didn't stick by his side.
It's a first
in that
step.
one moment,
Yeah.
which is
Which
true.
makes the
And
ending
I'm
more
I totally wasn't saying that, like, oh, the mother's, she totally redeemed herself. She's a great
Sweet.
person.
No,
but
God,
like,
no, she's terrible.
it's like that is, it's a step.
I
Yeah.
think Michael's character is a response to the
It's fine.
however you say it, unhabitated, a racist character. You know what I'm talking
Irredeemable.
about? Whatever.
The irredeemable racist.
The openly loud racist,
Like
the
Sam Rockwell
openly
and
asshole.
Billboard.
I think it's a response to that in that
Shows that someone can change.
Yeah.
he can change
And he knows what right and wrong is.
that like he is a person and that like clearly he's acting this way as a response to his childhood and also just his surroundings. I feel like a lot of the time he acts this way to try and fit in and
Yeah, because
try
when he
to
starts
make
singing
people
the
respect
racist
him.
song, everyone in the family joins in.
Yeah, and him freaking out about like something as small as shoes when going to see his dad.
Yeah,
You
like,
know, it's clear that he puts
wants
his
to
father on a
impress his
pedestal.
dad. He wants to, because I don't think he feels like he's never gotten love from his parents.
Yeah, because he got
And
sent to
then
boarding school.
Yeah, he
It's
was
like,
sent away his whole childhood, and I think the only thing he wants to do is impress his father and be the favorite. And I think the only way he knows how is by lashing out and being loud and being obnoxious.
and his
I think-
performance of it is so great.
Yeah.
I think he's a fascinating character. I think Christian is a fascinating character, obviously.
I think they all are.
And I think his sister might be the most interesting character out of all of them.
Yeah, because she kind of just has to like come to terms with everything that's being thrown at her.
Yeah, and I think the idea of her holding it in,
Yeah.
despite having clear opportunities to reveal the truth to her family.
Yeah.
And I never really felt like the anger at her that I did the mother. Because I do feel like
She
this being
That's
revealed to
another-
her is incredibly traumatic, and she's still processing it.
she had to hide it too as soon as she found it.
Yeah,
Because
and I
Lars
think
was there.
She was still processing it, and her decision
Yeah,
to
that's
finally
not easy to.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
decision to finally confirm to her family that what Christian is saying is the truth, even though I think they all knew it was the truth and they were just clearly ignoring it, but
Yeah.
irrefutably saying no, this actually happened. You think it's kind of a beautiful moment
Yeah.
when she finally stands up to her father and says no, and to the whole family by saying no, this is a real thing. She also stands up to her family because they're, for the most part, all racist.
Very.
And her decision to bring her black
black
boyfriend
boyfriend, yeah.
to the party in the first place is sort of an act of rebellion, and
He was one of my favorite
Yep, I
characters.
loved
He's a
him
great
too.
character.
He was just such a down-to-earth character that we could all relate to. Come in and be like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
wrong
he
with
was
this
kind of like the
family?
voice of the audience and being like,
Yeah.
stick in there, Christian. You'll,
Yeah,
like, you'll
telling
get through
Christian,
this.
like, you're fighting the good fight.
Yeah, and
And even
he comes in and he immediately does not take bullshit from people. Like, he's
Yeah.
lashing out at people.
Like, he
which is
doesn't-
something the family represses their feelings, represses their emotions, and he's very open and very much, like, confrontational in a way that's positive.
Mhm.
And I think that it shows two sides of humanity, essentially. And I think it is more prevalent among richer people to suppress their
Definitely.
Them
their
saying that
trauma
they're
and their dark side.
them saying that they're straight up stonemason members is so on the nose and funny.
Yeah.
There are some like honestly
hilarious
funny.
movie, I think.
Oh,
funny-
yeah.
I will like this movie. This movie grabbed me in a way not many have recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a page turner of a movie. It
Yeah.
kept me. I was engaged from the jump, and I never lost that. And I think going back to what we were saying about denial, I think this movie just portrays how difficult it can be to come forward with an allegation, and how it's
Not even that difficult to accept
Yeah.
that
Well-
this person you've known and grown up with is a monster.
I just think it's such great. It resonates really strongly, like even today, especially with like whatever Me Too movement, cancel culture, or whatever, of people just being unwilling to believe people with allegations. And I think this handles the way, like it's the way things just. I think you said it perfectly. Of people just rather moving towards complacency and normalcy rather than confronting
Yeah, rather
someone.
than addressing a
Problematic
problem, they rather keep things running
Because
smoothly.
everyone has had a moment in their life where it would certainly be easier to ignore something.
Yeah.
And it's a very adult issue. It's a very hard thing to tackle, but it's like
It's like the classic tale of you go to a perfect city and everything's perfect and everyone is happy, and then this is like an old fable or whatever, and then you discover that the city, all of its qualities, all of what makes it such a joyous place to be, all of that is the result of one child being like enslaved, or one child essentially being tortured constantly. And then the two types of people are the people who decide to ignore it and stay in the city and try to remain happy, or the people who pack up their things and leave.
and
I
this
think
movie
addresses
it boils it down to a family setting, a relatable setting, in such a perfect and airtight way. It's really genius. It's really genius. Yeah, I mean, just besides being a really engaging and it's hard to say entertaining, but like I think it is entertaining in a way.
Yeah,
because it's just a really it's a really interesting family drama.
I guess I wouldn't say entertaining as much as gripping.
Okay, I guess that's a better, I couldn't, for lack of a better word. Because there certainly are some moments where it's like, there's some cringeworthy moments. There's some scenes that are like tough. Like, his first reveal is both like a really like shocking moment, but also like a brutally like sad moments. And like finding out that that like
his performance in particular.
His face when like the letter's being read
Significant.
specifically,
Because it came
was
from, you see when she begins reading the letter, he's almost smug about it.
Yeah.
And then as she goes into more detail, it kind of dawns on him that, like, even though I am right, I'm still revealing this terrible thing. Like, and I've still experienced it, even though I finally had the relief of
It's
people know
it may
it's
be-
still me. Like I'm still destroyed by it.
Yeah.
and just it handles like how utterly like depressing it can be when you finally muster up the courage to say something and
No one listens.
not a single person listens. And that stuff was like the stuff to me that really grabbed me the most. It was like hard to watch because it's like you see that stuff happening all the time.
Like the scene where his brother and some other family members keep kicking him out was really hard.
Yeah, take him out to the woods.
And they take him out to the woods and tie him to a tree,
Yeah, that
which
was
is
like the most extreme example.
I know.
Of it's
Well, they're all drunk at that point, so.
it's what's the word? It's like what's repressing it? Like denying him his voice. Literally. Throwing him out of the situation in which he could.
I thought it was the working class was the people. Trying
Yeah,
to help
I
him
wanted to
get
bring
his
them up.
voice
Yeah,
out.
yeah. There's obviously like rich people.
Yeah, but I mean, there's stuff with the comedy too, but it just feels like kind of like a cliche to harp on that at this point.
Yeah, because it's so.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
they're
I think that's
they're
the least important part of the movie. in
yeah
all
they.
honesty.
It wouldn't make sense if they didn't make it that, you know, like
Yeah,
they had, and of course it's obviously like he wanted to say something about how these are the people who
But
normally.
that does lead to one of my favorite jokes where Kim locks Leaf in that room.
Oh yeah,
That was
When he
so
walks
great.
in and gets locked in.
and a happy ending, which
Yes.
you would
Something I
not
needed.
expect.
I was so fucking happy when I saw that
He's
old man.
moving to
get his
Paris.
This
ass
with,
easily could have
servant,
been
which
like
is-
a really dark, like
Yeah.
no one believes you. The dad now has like even, yeah, you find out the dad has a high position in
Yeah.
government or something.
I think
The government comes
the
in and
movie
just kills
having an uplifting, more positive ending.
Definitely worked in.
It's
his
necessary.
I think it works better than if it was a nihilistic ending.
Yeah.
100%
And I
agree.
think the movie would have been first much harder to recommend if it was, because it would have just been brutally depressing.
favor. It would have just been.
But
What's the word?
I think with this uplifting ending too, it shows that
There's
revealing information, coming out, and acknowledging problems does lead to positive change.
Yeah.
whether
even if it's
no
a
matter how
struggle.
small
You just
it
have to
is,
get
no
to
matter how small the step is,
It does.
it's worth it.
It leads to a positive change.
And it was a really great ending.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Scores?
Scores.
Who's going first?
You want me to go?
I'm
Nick, go first.
I'm blasting off with a 10 on 10.
Fuck, dude. I was at a 9, and now I'm thinking
I'm between-
I might have to drop a 10 on its ass.
I think I'm at a 9.
I
Call
was
me
at a
fat
9
boy.
too.
I'm dropping that 10.
You know what?
I think after a second
you know what?
viewing,
It's a perfect Dogma movie. Honestly, I'm giving it.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 10.
okay. I think I could
dropping
get
a 10.
there after a second viewing.
I watched it twice, and I thought maybe on the second time I wouldn't like it as much, because since I knew the twist, but I just found more.
It's just genuinely one of the most like airtight screenplays I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
I found more out of it that way. So fuck it. It's a perfect Dogma
There you
movie.
go.
10 out of 10.
Alright. We doing plugs?
It's my second 10.
I don't know how many.
I'm
10s
trying to see if I
You're
wrote down
giving-
anything.
4 now.
Fuck it. I like movies. Who cares?
I'm giving it a 10. I like Dogma, and this is maybe the best example of it.
Yeah, I wrote down
My-
I said love a happy ending, but get that dumbass mom out of there.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. Can we shoot her?
Honestly, it's so satisfying to see
And
the
just
dad
the f-
beaten
Oh
up
my
by
God,
Michael.
yeah.
But also
What was he
like
about to
another
do?
It was
thing.
so upsetting to Michael. He was about to pee on him.
Oh. okay.
Another thing that like
He was gonna rape him.
I forgot
Yeah,
to
I
touch.
thought there was gonna-
Another thing I
I
forgot
thought
to
they were
touch
going
on
there.
is how, like, I really thought it was gonna go for a depressing ending because I was like, because it seemed like after they read the letter that like these people were finally maybe getting it, and I was like,
they-
oh, it
kept partying.
yeah, but I was like, oh, it took these people. Someone had to reach out from beyond the grave to get these people to. It took someone dying to do it, and then they immediately went to them dancing. I was like, oh, is this gonna be
You know, that's where the movie
Depressing.
almost loses me. Is
With them
the
dancing?
dream sequences. I appreciate
Yeah, I
it more the
didn't-
second time I
I feel
watched
like it was needed.
It was like almost Lynchian.
Yeah.
It
way.
was very surreal,
I really liked
and
it.
then when they come out and it's like people are still celebrating, it's interesting, and the
That's what I'm saying. I gotta pick
the
apart.
shot of the four.
I
of
really
them
like that shot.
dancing
That was like
is
really heartwarming
really
to me.
fascinating to me. It almost seems like a literal celebration of the truth.
Yeah, that's what I
So,
thought.
That's the celebration.
I appreciate that too. Fuck it, 10 out of 10.
Content masterpiece.
All right.
Alright, I guess that's how we're ending.
Listen, Illuminati. It's the Illuminati.
Yeah.
The stonemasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I kept bumping the microphone this episode, but
But we still did.
God, and it's just like the idea of like how hard it is to handle hearing other people praise the shittiest
Yeah.
people. It
Oh,
handles
yeah.
that
Yeah.
so
When
because
the
so many
mom-
people
Toastmaster.
like the mom's
must go on.
the mom's speech where
Congo
she's like
line.
was like, Michael, you need to learn how to.
Fuck that
You've
Congo
always
line.
had a hard time separating fact from fiction. I was like, oh my, it's like the worst gaslighting.
Her whole story.
Oh
about,
my
Oh,
god, yeah,
can
that
you leave
seems so hard to
Snoop in
watch.
your chair?
The
or
worst
whatever?
gaslighting. It's just it
And then
really
he-
handles.
And the father intimidating him and being like,
What does he
do you want
get
me
up
to
and
reveal
say?
that you were in a mental institution?
It's crazy. It's really relevant. It's sadly
Feels
relevant.
very real, yeah.
I'm close to a 10. I think I'll be there after a
Well,
second.
I dropped a
viewing.
10. I had a 9 written in my phone.
Sorry, bitch. I already dropped a 10.
Nick is the trendsetter. He dropped it first.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the whole convo. I was like, I can't think of anything bad about, like, any flaws I had. With
So
this
a lot of
really.
times when it's like
Sometimes it's a little off-putting.
usually for
Yeah.
between 9s and 10s, it's more of a like. It's more of a general feeling than a flaw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. But
Like a lot of my 9s, it's hard for me to think of a problem with them, but
I-
it's more of a
I was just thinking
love.
this has been such a powerful experience both times for me that
Oh yeah, totally. If it's like,
I really think it deserves a 10.
and I just love just the fact that it's the first Dogma, and I like had already mastered it.
I've never felt so much joy when I saw that old man getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, I love old people getting this shit.
And
stuff.
when
Yeah,
that-
it was more satisfying because Michael finally realized
Yeah.
that his father's a piece of shit.
He's like, get him out here, Mike.
All right,
All right, are we doing plugs?
gotta do our
Kinda
faves.
sad. That seems kind of sad.
We gotta do our faves.
Oh,
Phase of the show.
celebration.
Carnival of Souls.
I'm going.
I'm going celebration.
Celebrate good times.
Show it to your grandparents.
It's a celebration.
Watch this one with Dad.
No, you know, watch this one with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try it
Well,
out.
if you.
This is a perfect Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, this and Krisha.
Krisha's
Krisha's
terrifying.
also
I fucking love that movie.
incredibly uncomfortable.
Did you get the A24 Blu-ray?
Oh, this guy's showing off.
No,
No, I
I'm
was
better
just
than you. I have
asking.
an A24 Blu-ray.
I love A24.
No, you guys like my dick.
No, I like Krisha. I don't.
I paid $500
I don't think I love
for this
Krisha. I
t-shirt
think
that
Krisha.
says
I don't think.
A24
I don't think the
I'm
end.
not
I don't think
paying $500.
No, I'm
Krisha.
kidding, because
Listen,
A24 majorly
Oh my god, yeah.
their books, which are $60,
I want that hereditary.
I want
So
that hereditary one too. I want the witch one.
or their mugs, which just say
Okay,
the
I don't
name
want
of
that
the
shit.
movie,
What
and
the
it's
fuck
like,
is wrong with you?
here's a
A24.
$40 mug that's black and an off-center.
Here's a hoodie that says A24.
Yeah, off-center black mug, which says.
I actually like your sweatshirt.
It's champion.
No,
so it's
A24
really nice.
used to be cool, and then they became the supreme of
God, of
of
like
movie
film,
produ-
social
of-
media.
of, like
It's like
movie
they
companies.
make good movies, but people hold them on such like a pedestal, and like often like hold the wrong ones on the
I'm not even gonna
pedestal.
lie. I fucking love my A24 sweat.
Listen, we're not. Sponsored
I don't know
by
why
them.
I'm holding.
I love my
sweatshirt I'm wearing.
A24 Champion sweatshirt. Get
Now
it
on
on.
sale.
Use the link.
Use the link in the description.
Use the
Code. Oh,
Anyways, plugs.
Yeah. Do we
I don't
have
know.
to do this every episode?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what,
It's
just
in the description.
Look in that description.
I don't really use.
We're
I haven't
done
been.
doing
I don't really
plugs.
use my Instagram.
It's a waste of time. Look at the description. You'll see.
All
the
I wanted to
Letterboxd.
say is I use.
Support us on Patreon.
Please. We didn't have a Patreon before this.
Yeah, John would say
By Venmo.
his Venmo every time. No, support
We
us
have
on
a Patreon. Some
Follow
sweet
us.
tears.
Just tell people about it. We want to be at least a little popular. So.
Also, I would like to say I use.
I mean, we
Letterboxd
don't give
now.
a shit. We're
I'm sorry if I
we'll
lied.
keep going. So
Letterboxd is sweet.
if
Yeah.
no one listens, I'll have some fun with my friends, and I don't care.
I don't give an F.
Anytime.
Yeah, I don't give a
Anytime in
C-bomb
an
about
episode
it.
said I don't use my Letterboxd, that was before
Yep,
I
that
used
was
my
literally
Letterboxd.
maybe every episode.
Yep, but now I definitely.
I only watch movies because I have a Letterboxd. Because I have
Me
to feel.
too.
I have
yeah,
to feel.
I have to prove
I have to
that
feel
I've
cool.
seen a lot of movies.
Sometimes I have to make sure that
Sometimes
my
I lie.
ratio of 8s and 7s is like
Yeah.
perfect. I have to have the perfect Keynesian curve. on my
Sometimes I'll give
ratings.
really low scores to movies I like just to seem harsher.
Well, I just have to keep the Keynesian curve.
I don't know
Yeah,
what-
I have to keep it perfect.
I don't know about you, but mine's like a bunch of good ones and some bad ones.
Mine
Mine's
is
pretty,
a perfect curve.
mine peaks at 8. I have like it's like low, like a very low 10. I have a lot of 9s, but I think that's just a case of like
I have
over the last year I've just gotten into movies and there were a lot of like stuff I've
Classics
had to
that
like
you-
really watch.
My 7 is my highest.
My 8's my
and then
highest.
8's close, and then
I'll tell you
6
what's
is
my
I
highest.
think I'm
third highest,
I think I'm
and then
8, 7,
9 is-
6, 9, 10.
Yeah, my 9s are like my
I'm
4th highest.
I'm up in the 500s now.
My 9s and 8s
I'm
are
in like
tied.
490, I think.
But like a
now.
lot of those are like shorts.
Yeah, it's hard. And like comedy specials.
Also, who
like on his
cares?
film.
I'm at 102.
Yeah, you know, I have more movies than Nick, so I feel like superior to him.
I have more movies than I've watched more movies
so like,
than
yeah,
both of
that
you
means
guys.
he's smarter than us.
Sorry guys.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Sorry about the grumpy beginning.
We had a lot of
Shit
we've
has
been
sucked,
through some
okay? Everything is
stuff.
Not great right now, but movies stay the same. So
Even movies aren't coming out. Watch First Cow though.
yeah, don't watch The Rental.
Don't
The
watch.
most boringest.
I have to see that.
The most,
can watch-
the most boringest movie
Should we do a quick
ever.
2020 rundown?
Nah,
Yeah,
Defy Bloods. Defy Bloods kind of sucked,
I didn't see
I
it
didn't
yet.
see that.
but a lot of people love it, so check it out.
I think I've seen 2 movies from this year.
The only thing
First,
I
you guys
Onward.
gotta watch First Cow.
I do-
Onward
I know I
and
do.
The Rental.
First Cow's
and
real good.
Both were not good.
the
As a
only,
fellow, as
Onward
the
was okay.
as the resident Rayshard, Kelly Rayshard had
You haven't seen Old Joy. Old Joy's
Wendy and Lucy.
Yeah,
I'm a
I haven't
huge
seen anything
fan.
else by her.
I'm just
Old
gonna
Joy's great.
recommend a random movie. off
Yeah,
the
everyone
Letterboxd.
recommend the.
What's
2020
a random
movie?
I watched? I watched Ocean's 11, and that movie is the shit. I freaking
I've been wanting to
love
watch
Ocean's
that.
11
It's supposed to be
so
like
much.
that cast
so
is
much fun.
I've had that.
You got Pitt, you got Clooney. Where could you go wrong?
What
You
I've been
got Casey
doing-
Affleck.
I literally will just I'll do a random letter generator, much like we do for the show,
Mhm.
and then I'll pick a movie from my watch
That's
list
cool.
of that. Because it's just like it's too much
I've
to pick
torrented
through.
like 30 movies and watched.
Excuse me.
You
I
fucking
mean,
terrorist.
I only torrent movies that aren't available.
I would recommend
Try
Magic from
finding the
1978.
idiots legally. The best I found was a Dutch copy, which was centered.
I
Which
didn't
was
talk over
censored,
your
I mean.
recommendation,
Sorry.
did I?
I'm sorry.
I
what were you
would
saying?
I would recommend Bleep, which we'll talk about in the future.
Wait, which?
You guys have to
I
figure out which
said
one I'm talking
I said
about.
Magic from 1978 with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay.
Go in knowing nothing because that's what I did and I really loved it.
Sweet.
I recommend. Let me see something recent I've watched. I recommend. I
Springs
highly.
also.
Palm Springs is great.
It's the best movies from 2020 right now, in my opinion.
I highly
But I haven't seen
recommend
First
a
Cow.
little movie from 1937 called Make Way for Tomorrow. Really
Old,
excellent.
really
no.
old.
It's like the saddest movie I've ever seen. I was in
Is it a
shambles.
talkie?
Old.
It is a talkie.
Talkie?
I
Ooh.
was in shambles for maybe the last 30 minutes of it, but it's. Mwah.
Real crybaby.
Shut the
Alright, goodbye.
f up.
Uh,
Terminator 2 is real good.
all right,
Oh wow,
we're gonna
that's
cut it off.
That's
a real unpopular opinion.
Is good.
Or and the
Have
Evangelion.
you guys heard of Endgame?
Wait, did we say what movies we're doing? For
Oh
next
wow.
one.
What? Why?
Two of my favorite things.
For Jonathan is wearing a Neon Genesis Evangelion. How do you pronounce it?
But it's in Garfield.
But it has Garfield on it.
Can this
and
be
it's in
the-
Garfield text?
Can this be the thumbnail?
for
We
that-
can just take
no,
a
the
video
shirt.
right now, and then
And
put
put
it
it.
in
No,
the
I'm not doing
YouTube.
that.
All right,
What the
All right,
hell?
thanks.
we're
guys.
peacing out.
See ya.
Mm.